I'm Cid in Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, the one that just came out last week. I'm one of the male voices in God Eater 3 when you do the customization screen. I'm in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Kill la Kill. I'm Jun in Kakeguri, Xander, Shakadera in the current dub of Beyblade. I've been in Rooster Teeth's Death Battle as Ultron and Frank West. I've got some really cool stuff I'm working on right now. But I actually went to Cal State Fullerton. Oh gosh, I started in 2009 and I graduated in 2014. And I didn't study acting here, but I did get a degree in sound design, which has helped me a lot. So, anybody have any questions off the bat to start off with, or what's up?
How was it like when you worked on God Eater 3? How was it like when you were in the booth and recording all those lines? How was like the voice direction?
So the voice direction for God Eater 3. So with God Eater 3 and most other video games that I've worked on, they have us do 3 takes of each line, like 3 different takes, and then they'll give us direction. And with that one, because I didn't know what voice they wanted when they started, so we actually started the beginning of the session kind of getting the voice. Because they just said, hey, so you're going to be one of the protagonist voices. We want some that sounds kind of dark, but still has kind of a bit of a passion to it. I'm like, okay. So we spent about 5 minutes working on that. And then they had us go through, they had this big Excel document, shut up. They had this big Excel document with screams and shouts and different call-outs. We had I think 5 different variations of each major thing that you can do. We had, I think 5 different ways to say grenade out. 5 different ways to talk about when your weapon changes into each different form. There's a scythe and the big laser and the big the axle kind of the thing whatever Axel from Kingdom Hearts has, something like that. And so each one of those had something different. And then for every time that you actually I guess eat the gods. We had a bunch of different one of those, and so that's basically what all that was. And but we were in, I think I was in the booth there for about, I want to say that was about 4 hours. So it was 4 hours of lots of screaming. Yeah. Anybody else?
How do you become a voice actor?
So hey, what's up? Come on in.
So what's this about?
So we're doing voiceover. We're talking about voiceover and all that stuff.
Right.
My name is Austin, and I've been voice actor for 10 years, and I've already given them the spiel. But I've been in Final Fantasy and a bunch of other stuff. But your question was, well, how do we get into it?
Yes.
So the best thing that you can do is to just kind of start. So there's lots of online resources. A big one that I always recommend is the Voice Acting Club. And the Voice Acting Club is basically a place where you can audition and you can get tips on mic technique and demo production and marketing yourself. And it's also a good way to get involved with the community, because getting involved with the community is a very important part of the whole thing, because we all lift each other up and we all kind of support each other. And if you don't get your name out there in the community, nobody's going to know who you are. So you've got to really just kind of go for it, and then from there you'll be able to find new opportunities. You'll be able to find paid opportunities. You'll be able to find volunteer opportunities. You're probably going to have to do a lot of volunteer opportunities when you start. But then after a bit, if you get the ball rolling and you do more, and you audition every day, then you'll be able to make it work, and then you can start advertising yourself to studios and stuff like that. And a big thing to keep in mind is to do this because you want to do it, because you think that it's going to be fun, and because you're passionate about it. If you do it because you want to be famous, then that's the wrong reason to do it, and you're going to get bored really, really fast, and you're going to get upset with yourself really, really fast. So you got to do it because it's fun. I got into it for a few different reasons. I got into it first. I really liked SpongeBob SquarePants, and I had the DVD of the first season, and there was a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff dealing with the voice actors, and I was like, oh, that looks really interesting. I really wanted to do stuff like that, and I watched that the special features over and over and over again just because I was so fascinated by it. And then in 2009, I saw a video series called Metal Gear Awesome, and I wanted to get into animation, and so I decided to do my own voices for my own cartoons. And so I just decided to get involved with the community, and I stopped animating because I hated it and decided to devote my whole time to voice acting. And that's kind of how I got into it. And then I made the finals at the last AX Idol back in 2011. And then I also got called back at the Bang Zoom open auditions in 2014. And that's how I started doing studio work. And my first anime that I did was Kill la Kill. And then from there, I've just been doing more and more stuff and working with more studios. And right now I'm doing it full time. It's my primary and only source of income, and it is doing really, really well.
I mean, it's a kind of comment on that, but you kind of do have to, if you really want to do this just because it's fun. I mean, you're talking about God Eater, you're just a voice for an option.
Yeah, like my character, you could play that game and not hear my character once if you don't pick him right at the start. And which you know what, is perfectly fine, because that means that everybody else, gets a chance to, make their own kind of story. God Eater 3 was awesome to work on because there are so many voices that you can pick in that game. I think there's like 20 for each, like there's 20 male, 20 female,
Yeah.
which is insane for any kind of character customization. That game is so ambitious with that stuff, and I love it, because most things you get maybe like 4 or 5. I think Soul Calibur has maybe like 7. But it's just, there's a lot of love went into that game. Anything else?
I think I got one. Is it alright you could do a voice line?
For what character?
I don't know anyone. It would be fine.
Well, if you have a character in mind, I'll totally do that if you want.
Cid from that new Chocobo game.
Oh yeah,
I guess.
Let me think. Gotta think of a line. Well, there's a line that he says like 20 times throughout the course of the game that I recorded 20 times, and that's, "All right, everybody, let's get this adventure started." I think all 4 or 5 times that I went in there, I recorded that line so many times. And I'm just like, okay, cool, how many times are we recording it today? How many times are we doing it today? And he says that before every freaking dungeon. So it's always nice to hear it, and because Cid is a very important character to me personally, because he is so positive about everything, and he's so encouraging, and he just wants to go out and explore the world, and he wants his buddy to do his best, and he wants you, the player, to do your best, and that kind of thing is something that I really live for. I feel like I was put on this planet to make people happy, and so getting to play characters that embody that sort of ideal is a real personal fulfillment for me, because Cid is like that, and Xander and Beyblade is also like that, and those characters, they just make me so happy. Whenever I get in to record more stuff for them, I know I'm going to have a great time because I'm gonna make some people happy, and it makes me happy. And it's a far cry from playing jerks like Jun and Kakeguri, because that guy is the jerkiest jerk who ever jerked and is just a terrible person. Anybody else?
What was it like working at Rooster Teeth?
Actually, I didn't work at Rooster Teeth. I worked on that from home. They do everything. They do all of their like red versus blue stuff in house. But for stuff like Death Battle, that is all done mostly remotely. If the actor is in Texas, they'll bring them to the studio that they record at, which I believe is Sound Cadence. But I recorded both Ultron and Frank West from my own home studio. They contacted me and like, hey, you got the part when you want to record, and we just arranged the time, and I just told my fiance that I was like, I'm gonna be loud for a bit, so if you want me screaming about killing all of humanity, that's what it is. I'm not mad. But Ultron was a lot of fun because that's the kind of character I don't usually get to play. That kind of character, I usually play like really like big, loud, super like bombastic characters, either super positive or super negative, and Ultron is just right down in here. And so getting to like actually like do that was a big, awesome opportunity because I don't think that a lot of people know that I can do that. It's like, yes, does he have like some big screaming lines? Of course he does. It's Death Battle. But there was one line that I did that when I recorded it, I'm like, oh God, that's the coolest line I've ever done. And it's so out of what I normally do. It's the, your reign is a delusion. You're all just puppets on strings. And I don't normally get to do that. Normally I play like the big, Minotaur guy doing that. So getting to play a really nice, calm, collected villain was a nice change.
That's pretty cool.
Anybody else? Yes.
You said that sometimes you're in the booth for like 4 hours at a time doing a bunch of
Yes.
screaming.
Yes.
Do you take any like vocal classes or lessons to like learn how to properly use your voice so you don't kind of destroy it?
I absolutely recommend people should do that. I don't. The reason I don't is because I played tuba in high school, so I kind of learned that breath control pretty early on. Because, oh gosh, I think the longest session that I did was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Season 2. I played a buttload of, oh god, I gotta figure out if I can get it all in order. Nazi zombie vampires, which is par for the course for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I think we were in the booth for about 5 hours for that. And by the end of that, like, even I was just like, okay, I need to do nothing for the next 3 days because my voice was so torn up, like even more than it is right now. Because my voice is kind of torn up right now because I was sick all last week, so I'm not sick anymore, but I've got that kind of residual cheese graterness.
Yeah, no, that's what I was wondering. I was like, is that just his normal voice?
Yeah, no, I normally sound more like up in here, but I want to be a bit more relaxed because there's not a lot of people in here. If there were people in the back, I'd be doing that. But right now, this is what
It's
I call.
nice. It's like a radio show.
This is what I call my my commercial voice, because I took commercial classes last year, and because I normally for everything else that I do, I'm right in here. But my teacher was like, okay, so we need you to. You have a really nice low range that you don't really use a lot. So we want to kind of focus in on that. And I want you to think about it like you are, you've just had dinner, you're in bed, you're not going to like do anything dirty, but you're just ready to relax at the end of the day. And are you going to be like this? Hey honey, how's it going? Or are you going to be like, hey, that dinner was really, really nice. And so I've been using this a lot more for commercials. And
It
also
sounds like ASMR in a way.
a little bit. I did I sometimes like to give you an idea of how much I enjoy doing voiceover, I just do it for fun sometimes. And so one time I recorded a whole improv of me doing pirate ASMR. And I just got like really deep in here. And I made sure that my lips were as wet as possible so I could just keep going less every 5 minutes. And a lot of people on Tumblr gave me the cursed post vibe for that, which is perfectly fine because that was about as cursed as it can get. But then I do other fun stuff too, because it's just like, if I'm doing this purely for my job, it probably is going to get boring after a while. So I got to keep doing stuff that I want to do. But I do stuff that I want to do all the time. Like Final Fantasy was like an actual like dream role for me, because like I grew up. I never actually played all the way through any Final Fantasy game. I played the Kingdom Hearts games, but I played Final Fantasy VIII, the demo that came with the Pizza Hut boxes back in the 90s. I played the Final Fantasy VIII demo so many times that I have that whole like segment that they did for that demo like ingrained in my head, with Biggs and Wedge at the top of the tower and that big summon that comes down. I'm never gonna forget that. And so Final Fantasy is one of those things that like I'm a casual fan, but it's still incredibly important to me. So getting to be in Final Fantasy and as a Cid was like mind blowing. I thought I was having a joke pulled on me when I got the email. I'm like, there's no way. They had to have sent that to somebody else. No. Any other questions?
How about do Xander from Beyblade? Because I don't know Xander from Beyblade at all.
So Xander was originally Andrew Francis up until recently. But in the current season of Beyblade, they started recording down in America. I mean, well, the United States of America. So they recorded in Canada for a long, long time. I don't know what made them switch down to the USA, but I'm really thankful for it because it's a really fun show to work on. But oh gosh, what did I make Xander sound like? Oh god, it was a while ago, and I didn't catch the episode. I think Xander was like right down in here. It was like, how's it going? So I see that. What did he say? He's talking to Xavier. He said, "So Xavier, I see that sword finally chose you." Because he's there. I don't remember what exactly was going on in that episode. I want to say that for some reason Xavier was doing like sword training. I don't know anything about Beyblade. I know the scenes that I was in, and I'm like, isn't this a show about tops that they like rip at people? But like he's like doing like some sort of like sword training, and I'm just like, okay, I'm into it, sure. And then there's really like sweet campfire scene where he's talking about his rival, and that's really all that I know. That's all that I'm just like, cool, this is gonna be on Disney XD, you got it. But it was also a fun show to work on because Xander is another one of those characters who's so encouraging, and my friend Kimlin also does some voiceover for it. She plays Vault, I think. I could be completely wrong, but I think it's Vault. And when I told her that I got cast as Xander, she just said, "You're the good boy! You're the good boy!" And I'm like, I am! Yes! We have this inside joke that I'm going to be typecast as good boys from now on. And so far, it's been holding up actually really well. Because I'm working on something right now where I'm playing like the main character's best friend. And he is just so like happy-go-lucky all the time and so happy and positive. And when he does get angry, like it's literally for like a split second and he goes right back. It's like really funny. He's like, someone will like say, something like slightly like discouraging him from doing something dangerous, and he'll like freak out at them, and then they'll go like, "That's not what I was saying. That's not what I'm saying. I don't think anybody would say that." And he'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, no, you're good." But it's really fun getting to play characters like that, especially like because like he's like this big dumb guy, and that kind of thing is just like my bread and butter. Anybody else?
I think I got one. I think I know you're a musician. I noticed you have band cause someone named Austin Lee Matthew has a band camp.
Yes, that's me.
Oh,
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I don't really do music like professionally. Really, I just kind of do it like on the side. I mostly just kind of like do it just because like I'll get like inspiration and I'll just be like, oh, I want to cover that song or I want to do this. I also do. One of my friends does a radio play, and I've been doing music for that since I was going here. Because I think that radio play started like back in 2012, so I've been doing music for it for about as long. Yeah. How's it going? Come on in.
Oh, hello.
We're doing voiceover Q&A. You got a question for me, sir?
I need to look it up.
Think faster, gosh! We're about halfway through. They said that the panel supposedly ends at 2:15, but they also said that I could go longer because there's nobody after me. So if anybody else has any more questions after 2:30.
Do you have any tips for like screening or any of the rigorous stuff?
So with my big tip is if you are self-directing and you're not in the booth, save them for last.
Okay.
Because if you do them right at the front, you're gonna rip yourself to pieces. I made that mistake one time. I was recording a game called Super Daryl Deluxe, and I was playing this guy named Time Knight, and he's this big like Time Knight was in here, and he's this really short but buff, just this blue knight, but he's actually like a nerd underneath. But he screams so much, and they said, okay, we're gonna do all the screams right at the top. I'm like, okay, that must be what he's doing. But then like we got like later on, they wanted us to do like actual like, excuse me, Time Knight has issues with what's going on right now. And when I was recording that, you could hear like this in my voice. And so I was like, this is gonna be fun, but thankfully they put like a really heavy filter on it, so like you can't really tell. And because of this, it kind of like added to the fact that it's revealed like at the end that he's just this nerd underneath. So like, you know, the occasional voice cracks actually kind of like added to the character a bit, and it was really funny.
What was the last time you won an award?
Oh shoot. I don't think I've ever actually like won an award before. Like I did the Bang Zoom like open auditions back in 2014, and I was the first person that they like called back, and that was at Anime Expo. But yeah, I got called back for that, and I made the finals at AX Idol, like their very last one back in 2011. That's about the closest. I wouldn't say big enough or cool enough to get any awards yet.
Do you have another dream role you would love?
That's a big question. I would really love to be Sonic the Hedgehog. I think that'd be really fun. But I also really want Roger Craig Smith to be Sonic forever. Because he's so much fun as Sonic. But oh geez, I don't know. Sonic is one. I'd probably really want to be like in Pokemon. Mass Effect maybe would be fun. But I think they only record in Canada. I think, I'm not entirely sure about that. But no, there's a bunch, like Marvel superheroes, like officially would be a lot of fun. Yeah, there's some other stuff. I'd like to come back to Final Fantasy again. Maybe do like a main series title, because Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon was just so fun. Like I ate that up. I was just so like happy when I did that. And so if I got called back to do more of that, that'd be great. If they do more stuff for Kingdom Hearts, I'd love to be in that. some of my friends actually got to be in the most recent Denim Arts, and I was like, that's so cool. Come on in, come on in.
Oh, what's going on?
How's it going?
We got lost.
Oh.
That's a good excuse.
So for those of you who are just kind of walking in, my name is Austin. Austin Lee Matthews. I've been doing voiceover for 10 years. You can hear me as Cid in Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, Xander Shakadera in Beyblade. I am Ultron and Frank West in Rooster Teeth and Screw Attack's Death Battle. Jun in Kakeguri. I did stuff for Sword Gai, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Kill la Kill, Magi, Seven Deadly Sins. So I've done a lot of anime, I do a lot of games. I did some stuff for Lego, which was a lot of fun. But for anybody who has just come in, do you have any questions? Have you got a question yet?
Do you ever, I guess, maybe go back or watch or play any of the stuff you're in?
Oh yeah, all the time. When they released Final Fantasy Mystery Dungeon, I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting that day one. I was like stalking GameStop, like, hey, you have pre-orders yet? You have pre-orders yet? You doing this yet? You doing this yet? And I found out like literally like the week before it dropped, oh, they're not doing physical in the US. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I actually had somebody who reached out to me on Twitter because I guess they did physical copies in Japan. And this guy had a copy imported for the Switch, and he's like, hey, if I send it to you, will you sign it and send it back? I'm like, duh. So now somewhere somebody has a physical signed copy of that game. But I made sure to get it like as soon as it dropped on PS4, and I got the what you call it, the home screen theme. And I love that theme, it's so cute. But then I will go back and watch some stuff sometimes. I won't always watch all of it. I'll mostly like look for my parts so I can put it like on my demo. But then like I watched Kakeguri, I watched Seven Deadly Sins. I've been playing Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon a lot. Kill la Kill I watched like 3 times. How's it going? Come on in. But yeah, like if I can get my hands on it, absolutely. Yeah. How's it going? Go ahead, sit on down, whatever you want. Doesn't matter. Oh, you're gonna sit at the front of the class, aren't you? Anybody else have a question? Yeah, all right.
You mentioned also like you worked with Rooster Teeth for some stuff.
Yeah, I work with Rooster Teeth on
Aren't they
Death
based
Battle.
in Texas?
Yes, it is. They do Red vs. Blue and all of like their in-house stuff like Camp. They do that in Texas. But for stuff that's like Screw Attack, like Death Battle, they are totally cool with doing remotely. Because I have friends who have done like the Death Battle stuff a lot, and like I think maybe like half of them are actually in Texas, and there's some that aren't even like in California. It's just like, you know, because if you have a home studio that's, you know, studio quality, they don't care. But they usually, for most of their other stuff, will just do in Texas in-house. But yeah, I don't think that they ever usually, like, unless it's, you know, Death Battle, I don't think they ever usually cast outside. Unless they're bringing in, like, you know, like a celebrity or something like that, like Elijah Wood, or the Game Grumps or whatever. Cheers, yo.
Cheers.
God, jeez, walk out. Anybody else have any questions?
What is your favorite role in the video games?
Cid. Absolutely Cid. I freaking love Cid so much. I've gone into, you know, detail already about Cid, but he's just been a lot of fun. He's just, I just love Cid. Cid's one of those characters that like even my mother loves, because like she doesn't usually get super into the stuff that I do, but when Final Fantasy dropped, she was just like, yeah, no, I'm all over this. She wants to get a jacket that says, let's get this adventure started on it. She keeps showing the trailer to all of her friends. And yeah, no, I love Cid so much. Yeah, Cid's easy. Like if we're talking about video games and even like overall, it's absolutely Cid.
Okay, you mentioned before that you're gonna that they kind of have this joke about you being typecasted. I was wondering, like, do you ever feel that like that maybe once you do this long enough that you will become typecasted and eventually you'll just always get one distinct role?
If that happens, then that's fine because that means that I have job security.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like if I get typecast in something, like heck yeah, like if I'm good at that and people want me to do that, then absolutely, I'll come in whenever they want. It makes me money, and so I'll do it. Like I don't have any issues with that at all. I've never had any issues with that. There was a period of time where I was playing a lot of jerks, like Jun in Kakeguri. But like that was a little bit harder because that's so far out of like how I am naturally. But at the same time, it was a lot of fun because like jerks like Jun get to freak out a lot. So I got to scream a lot, especially like near the end of like Jun's arc, when he gets like when he starts to lose and he starts to freak out. Like half of those sessions were me just like slowly having a mental breakdown, and it was so much fun. I love doing stuff like that.
Do you like playing characters that are already kind of like set up and everyone kind of knows what to expect from them? Or would you like to, or like if you can make your own character, like if someone's like, I wrote this for you, like what kind of character would you want it to be?
I would say I definitely like playing characters that I have a bit more freedom with. But like the more specific an idea that a director has in their head for the character, the easier it is for me to kind of get like match what they want. Because if they go in and they're just like, hey, you're playing a dad. Like, tell me more about the dad. Well, he's a dad. And I'm just like, okay.
Who's dad?
Yeah. Like, who's dad? What does he do? What's his job? What's his personality like? And I'm just like give me more. But with stuff like anime, like that is like so specific. So which makes it on one hand really easy, and on the other hand like super restrictive, which is fine. But at the same time, it's just like I vastly prefer characters that I have a bit more freedom with. Cid, as far as like stuff that I've dubbed, was the most like freedom that I had because he only has one scene that's actually dubbed. The rest of it's free form because they have just like the text boxes that just go whenever. So like he's like the one who I don't even think I ever heard him in Japanese before actually getting to play him. I know that he had a voice before on the Wii, and I didn't hear that either until like several months after I had been done recording it. I hope that answered the question. I kind of forgot it halfway through.
I kind of forgot what I asked.
Anybody else?
So I think I looked at your Twitter and you recently just got into this game called Grand Guilds.
What? Oh, Grand Guilds, yes. Oh gosh, who do I play in that? Monaco?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh, Monaco's so fun. I completely forgot about Monaco. Oh yeah, I was really excited to get Monaco because, it was like he looks like me. Like he has my body. He's a big guy. He has my body type. He even has like kind of like my facial hair a bit. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing myself in a game. Like I don't ever see like, especially like protagonists. Well, I wouldn't call him a protagonist. He's a party member. Like playable party members. Like you don't see this ever. And so I was like so like happy to see that kind of representation. And plus Monaco is just so much fun. He's just. I love Monaco. I'm excited for people to play it.
So like the reason I asked that question is because like the character Draken, like the actor he's actually somebody that I know because I think we used to do like some projects online before like he got into this game, and I just wanted to mention that because because I'm actually friends with like on Discord.
Nice.
We chat like on the voice acting club Discord server on the forums a lot, and and other servers, and like just like really happy. So
Cool.
it's just like being one of the actors with Grand Guild, and to find out that one of my friends that I know online is in it, it's just like
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
It's just
Well,
this is kind of
It's a fun game too.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to people getting
oh
to play
yeah.
it.
So I just wanted to give him a shout out because like
Awesome,
we're
dude.
in the same game as
Cool.
my buddy. So,
Yeah, awesome. Plays which character?
Like I think he's
Is it the guy with the, is it the guy with the mask?
like the Max, some ninja guy.
Okay, yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I auditioned for that character.
Yeah.
But cool, I'll look him up.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Who are some of your favorite voice actors, or like what character has the favorite voice?
Oh
that you-
yeah.
Oh boy.
Yes.
This is such a big question.
The ultimate
See,
question.
the short answer is all of them.
Yeah, it won't leave this room. No one will tell. So in case you ever work with them.
Oh gosh, like my favorites. Oh gosh. Gosh, I love them all so much. Especially since I've gotten to know a few of them. But oh gosh.
Just narrow it down to a performance.
Hmm?
Or just narrow it down to a performance.
Narrow it down to April. Well, I want to answer the
What?
big question first because
I was like, do
she
you
asked
need a
me.
list of 5 to 10 people so it's not just one person?
It's just like if somebody asks me, who are my favorite voice actors and what performances has inspired me, it's just like every time I come up with a list and then
I got 'em.
the same.
Oh, I got him. Okay, so we have Chris Smith, Dino Andrade, Jason Marnoka, Kimlin Tran, Ryan Bartley, Sean Chiplock, Maurice LaMarche, Rob Paulson, Billy West, Tara Strong, Roger Craig Smith, Troy Baker, Nolan North, Mark Hamill, J.K. Simmons, and Gray Delisle, who is now Gray Griffin. Yes.
I was just about to guess that.
Yeah. And you said specific performance?
Yeah, is it like a specific performance, or just a performance? Let's say it's like that was awesome.
Probably
Just listen to that.
because of how inspiring it's always been to me. Mark Hamill's performance as the Joker in Batman Arkham City, because that is just so good. He talk about perfect casting, like that. Mark Hamill is so good. I think the most two perfect castings have been Mark Hamill as the Joker, and believe it or not, Jack Black as Poe in Kung Fu Panda.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that
Has there ever been a
was-
better casting as Jack Black as a panda?
Whoa! Somebody agrees with me.
So good. I love I'm usually not super into celebrity casting, but Jack Black, gosh dang, he's the exception.
Have you seen Jack Black's new YouTube channel?
I love Jablinski games.
Yeah.
I actually got
That's a
to I got to do something. One of my friends did a YouTube video recently. It was supposed to be Jack Black in actually playing Fortnite. It was animated, and they had me playing Jack Black. And he's just like, "Hey Austin, can you do a Jack Black impression?" I'm like, "I've never tried." And he's just like, "Okay, I just say something." I'm just like, "Jablinski Games, get you on the flip flop." Oh! And he's just like, "Cool, perfect." And I'm like, "Awesome! It's my lazy impression of Jack Black. You're getting it." But yeah, no. When he started doing that, I loved that for so long. The joke of his channel was that he was never going to play a game, and I'm glad that he's finally playing a game because the joke was going to get old eventually. But I just like seeing Jack Black. He's just the big ball of joy. He's one of those guys who's just very on a personal level super inspiring to me. But yeah, I love that guy. Anybody else?
Actually, on that note of Mark Hamill, did you hear that if you look at his career, he's recently going to be in the new Child's Play role as Chucky.
Oh,
I didn't see
wow.
that, but
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm not super into horror movies, but that's pretty cool. Good for
Yeah,
him.
because you mentioned Mark Hamill, and I was just like, oh wow, he's actually going to be in Child's Play.
He's right.
Chucky. That's kind of one of those.
Sorry, just a sec. Oh. Do not eat food from the young.
Okay. Make a note of that.
Oh boy. Oh gosh. Okay, yeah, I know where I'm going after this, and that's home. But anybody else?
So I mentioned before about like directing. What is from since you've done both games and anime and other things, what has like has there been like a difference between directing styles?
Oh, incredibly. Super, like with a lot of anime, like oh gosh, anime is a lot more strict in terms of its directing style because you have to like a lot of anime they want it as close to the Japanese as possible. And some directors, even when they want it that close, some directors they still have a vision. They have a vision in their head. But like, oh gosh, like if you look at the directing style between like Tony Oliver and Greg Chun and what other directors have I worked with? Wendy Lee. They all have completely different directing styles. And two of them, like Greg Chun and Wendy Lee, I've worked with them on games, and just those two, their directing style is like night and day. Because Greg directed me for Final Fantasy, and he gave me a lot of freedom with Cid. And Wendy Lee with the character that I played with her, which I can't talk about yet, but I can talk about that I got to work with her. The character that I played with her, she had a very distinct vision with it, so she kind of pulled me a bit more into what she wanted, which is fun because that gives me more like a direction to go. But then I've also like worked with another director, Tom Keegan. Worked with him on a virtual reality game called Archangel, and he like even his directing style like while he like gives me like a lot of freedom, like even his like if you compare him to Greg Chun, it's completely different. But then I'm also like with Tony Oliver, like with him, as I work with him on anime, you go from working on anime with him to working on a cartoon like I am, like an American cartoon. Like with the American cartoon, he basically like, because it's an ensemble cast, he basically just says, okay, this is what the scene is like, just go. He's like, the best part about this show is that I don't have to direct you guys because you guys play off of each other so well. Because some directors will, because depending on the show, they'll be completely hands off. They'll just kind of like, they'll shepherd us in the direction, but they won't like, say like, it has to be like this. We want it to be like this. Why aren't you doing it like how I do it? And then when that stuff happens, we get stuff like line reads, which I hate. I hate when directors say, okay, so you're gonna say the line, and I want you to say, I am the king of the world. And I'm just like, all right, cool, you want me to say it exactly like that? Yes. Cool, it's not direction. But, I know that there's a lot of actors who are just like, sure, if you want to give me a line read, go for it. Like, that gives me what you want. I'm like, yeah, cool, sure. I just, I prefer, the complete to somewhat freedom, but, Anybody know?
Have you ever been cast for something you felt like you weren't ready for?
On one hand, yes, but on the other hand, I might not feel that I'm right for it, but the director thinks so, and that's the important part. I'm trying to think about like what it was like if it's really been anything, because I've kind of gotten over the I'm not right for this mentality. Like if I feel like I'm not right for it, I don't audition for it. But like like if I ever feel like uncomfortable in the booth playing a character, I'm just like, this is not me. I don't ever vocalize that.
If the director likes it, it's still.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I care about.
Exactly.
If the director gets what he wants and I get paid, I don't care. It's money.
That's how we do it.
Yeah. But like I just I just like working no matter what it is. Like even if like I'm uncomfortable, as long as it doesn't sound like I'm uncomfortable, I don't care. What? Oh, you're pushing my glass. Anybody else?
Where did you get that Chocobo doll at?
I got this at Little Tokyo a few weeks ago.
Little Tokyo.
I was actually like specifically, I went to Little Tokyo. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna find a Chocobo. Because I saw a Chocobo pillow there, but I didn't have the money for it. And now I'm just like, okay, I have the money. I'm gonna get a Chocobo. And I saw this, and I was just like, it looks just like my buddy from the game. So I got this one, and I'm gonna take him everywhere because we're gonna go on like actual like Chocobo adventures together. I'm taking him to every convention that I go to, every panel that I do, and I'm gonna take him like to like stuff like that. I wanna go to the Arboretum over here and take some pictures with him. I love my buddy. I love my buddy so much. And that's one of those games that just it's really important to me. I love Chocobo. I feel like he's like actually my buddy. Does he have one?
Oh yeah. So like, what's the big difference between like you're working on a video game to like anime to animation?
So those three just by themselves is a huge gap. So anime is a lot more strict because we have to match it to the picture. And it's a lot more challenging because of that, because there's like certain timing stuff that you have to do to it. So you don't have the timing freedom. And that, like, they give us 3 beeps and we talk, and then we do that again. And if they need it more, then we do it again, and then we move on. With video games, they say, okay, you're gonna give us 3 takes of the line, and then I'll either direct you or we'll move on. With cartoons, it depends on the cartoon, because if it's a solo cartoon, like if I'm just in the booth by myself, then it's kind of, they might do it like how they do with video games, or they might just say, okay, give us a line and we'll direct you. And with ensemble, I've been on several different ensemble shows at this point that have all worked differently. The show that I'm working on right now, they have us run through a whole scene together, and we kind of like play off of each other. And if we need to do it again, we always do it again just so they have a safety take. But like from there, they generally, like after those 2 takes, they won't have us do the whole thing again. We'll like pick out like certain lines, or like the director will be like, maybe be a bit more excited on this line, or maybe pull it back a bit on this line. Or as they say to me every time, hey Austin, can you scream that line? And I'm like, yes. Oh. There's this character that like, I think I talked about him earlier because he's a big guy who has like big freakouts. And so just like, hey, okay, you can scream that. I'm like, yes. And then when that happens, everybody just moves 2 feet away from me. I feel a force field around my body go up as everyone fears the beast within. Anybody else? Got 15 minutes left, but they said I don't go as long as I do.
Since you go to Bang Zoom Studio in LA, does it mean you see some voice actor over there like Steve Bloom, Johnny Young Bosch, and Yuri Yonthon? You know those guys?
I usually see Steve walking around conventions. I don't think I've ever run into him in the booth. But like I ran into Mark Hamill. Oh wait, no, not Mark Hamill. Who the fuck did I run into? I ran into Billy West. There we go. I'm like, I've never met Mark Hamill. What am I saying? Billy West. Matt Mercer. That was the M's I was looking for. Matt Mercer. I ran into him last week. Not last week. 2 weeks ago. Like right before this came out, which was cool because he played Cid before I did back in 2009, I think.
Wow.
So I was just like, oh, cool. I couldn't talk about it. But then he reached out to me on Twitter and was just like, dude, yes. And I was like, that's how it feels. But then I work with Kyle Bear sometimes, Chris Smith, Dino Andrade, Sean Chiplock sometimes, Chris Niosi. And like, but I'll like see them just like around because we all kind of like, a lot of us will just like, see each other just like out and about, or we'll get in touch with each other. A lot of us are connected on Facebook. Not all of us though. Like I don't know like some people like personally. Like I don't have any contact with Billy West outside of the one time that I ran into him at a convention. Not a convention, a studio. And the Steve Blumen conventions, I ran into Billy West in the studio. They were recording something. I don't remember what it was. I probably can't talk about it because they're probably all under NDA. I don't know if that show is out, but I ran into him and Diedrich Bader before a session. I want to say I ran into them before a session for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, or Hunter x Hunter, because it was at the Magnolia Studio, and that's where we recorded those. But I saw Billy West come in, and I was like, "Are you?" And one of the assistants was like, "Billy West in the flesh," and I'm just like, "Oh." And he's like, "You didn't need to give me the introduction, but okay." But we sat down, we chilled for a bit, and then in walks Diedrich Bader, and we talked with him for a bit. And Diedrich is he's just lovely. I love Diedrich. He like immediately, I'm just like, this guy just sounds like somebody like it would just be a lot of fun to talk to. But yeah, no, I see a lot of people here and there. I think about who I saw recently. Ran into Barbara Goodson, and she was Rita Repulsa on Power Rangers. Yeah, which was a lot of fun. I was just like, wait a second. Well, because like I was on an ensemble show, and I saw a picture of Rita Repulsa on my phone. That it was like her saying, "After 10,000 years, I'm finally free," but on her face it said the measles because of the anti-vaxxers and all that. And I showed that to my friend, and he says, "You know that's her, right?" I was just like, but yeah. Anybody else? Oh shit.
Well, have you gone to WonderCon yet, which is happening right now?
Which one?
Have you been to WonderCon?
Oh, WonderCon. No, I have not been to that one. I haven't been super interested in that one. I don't usually do like the super general like comic conventions. Like I might do like Kamikaze or whatever, but I haven't been to like. I went to San Diego Comic-Con in 2009 and 2010, and it was way too overwhelming. Like I was one of those where I'm just like, okay, I need to breathe. I've been walking for 5 minutes and I need to breathe.
Pretty much AX.
Yeah, I'm not doing AX this year. It's gotten to be the same. It's like same kind of bigness as it's Comic-Con. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna do a bunch of smaller conventions this year because I can't do the big ones. Yeah, if I get invited as a guest, I'll go. But like actually going, I'm just like, no. I'm tired of getting shoved around.
At least.
Yeah, I don't want to pay $200 to spend $200. Anybody? No. Oh, I think I got a few more minutes. Oh, yeah. 7 more minutes.
Have you done Q&A panel before other than here? Like have you ever done
Ever
Q&A panel?
outside of here?
Yeah, instead of right now, here.
See, I've done panels here every year since they started, and I did, but I've done panels at Anime Los Angeles, back before they moved to the Ontario area. I think the first panel that I did was at Anime Los Angeles, and then I've done, I think, 4 panels at Anime Expo. I know I've done at least 2, but I think I did 2 one year, and then another panel one year, and another panel another year. I did a panel last year at Anifest. That was a solo panel like this one. But I usually prefer to do panels with other actors, only because it's a lot easier for more people to give opinions than just, one guy giving one opinion. But my usual partner moved to Texas, so we weren't able to do our thing this year, but it's whatever.
I love that tends to be a thing. Everyone that lives here, they want to move to Texas, and then everywhere else, they want to move over here.
Yeah. I don't know. It depends, because I know a lot of voice actors kind of have been moving to Texas lately, but not all of them. Usually the people who move to Texas are there just for like Funimation, which is fine. It's probably a lot easier to make a living off of anime in Texas than it is in California, where the rent is way higher. But you know, I've seen a lot more people move out here than move out there.
Yeah. I mean, like, many people say that, like, it's cheaper to move to Texas.
Oh, it's significantly cheaper.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's absolutely cheaper. My
If you
friend.
want to get into it, it's preferable to move to Texas than California.
Yeah, no, I've had a few friends move out there because of the price.
Yeah.
Like I had a friend who was really like pretty established out here, but he's just like, I'm gonna move to Texas because the rent up there is a lot cheaper, and that way I don't have to worry about that.
And you can keep doing anime, so.
Yeah, if you want to do anime, awesome. But he actually does come out. He actually like commutes out here to do stuff out here. It's funny. Like the minute that he moved to Texas, he was getting roles out here. It was really funny. How's it going? What panel are you here for?
The one still going on?
Oh, okay. The voice acting panel? Cool. I know there's a panel at some point after this. I just don't know when.
Yeah, I thought you were just going over time or something like that.
Oh yeah, no. They said I could go a bit longer because there's nobody after me for like until 5.
Free range.
Anybody else?
You could give us a little show.
What?
You could give us a little show, a little performance.
Do you have any money? What do you mean?
voice line. How about June? I don't know June.
I'm not gonna say anything from June. No way. That guy is too gross. June is the grossest character I've ever played. He's a scumbag. He is like, I loved playing June, but like he's gross. I can maybe think of a. Oh shoot. What's a non-gross line from him? He has one line where he has a big freak out, where he says, "If I don't turn it around, I'll end up 150 million in debt." You know me? But like June is one of those characters that like a lot of people seem to like that I voiced him, and I enjoyed playing him, but he's not a character who I look up to because he's gross. He is grody to the max. And that's a phrase that nobody has said since 1991.
That's a specifically after 2 it stopped.
After 2, nobody said grody to the max ever.
How times have changed.
Although I'm glad that Garbo is coming back.
Yeah.
I've seen more people use Garbo a lot. I'm just like, when one of my friends used Garbo, I'm like, let's see here. Okay, we got I think 2 more minutes before the panel ends, and if anybody has any more questions after that, we'll stay.
I guess, or kind of relating to what you just said, but you said you were good. If you had the chance, you would like to be Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were, what would your interpretation of it be?
I'd probably just keep him like right up in here, just because like, he's got kind of that sass to him
Yeah.
that like I know that like a lot of people who do like fan versions of Sonic just make him sound like Ryan Drummond
Yeah.
and Jason Griffith. One time like somebody had me do like an impression of the Roger Craig Smith one just for fun. But like, yeah, no, I would want to make it a lot more like my own kind of spin on it.
Could you do like an example line?
Oh shoot, what do you want me to say?
Oh yeah, this is happening?
Yes.
Oh yeah, this is happening.
See?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's one of those characters I would love to play Sonic, or any Sonic character. Like if they had me like say like, okay, we're gonna have you as Robotnik, cool. I prefer Sonic, but like yeah, I'd be fine playing any of them.
If you kill it, Robotnik.
Yeah, I freaking love Robotnik. He's my favorite.
They were like, oh, well, see, we really liked you as June, so we want you to do that for Robotnik.
I don't think they would. If they wanted that as for Robotnik, I'd wonder what smoke they were cracking. But sure, because June's a high schooler, so if they wanted that for Robotnik. So, oh, I thought you said something.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I guess before we close this off, any advice to anybody who aspires to get into
The best advice that I can give anybody is to be a good person, and not for success, but because it's important to be good to everybody around you. And if you're a good person to everybody around you, then people are going to want to work with you. That is advice that I give a lot, is to be a good person and to spread joy because you want to spread joy, and that is why you're doing this, because you love doing it, because you love making people happy, because you love to be happy, and you should be always grateful to everybody that you work with. Always be sure to thank the director when you're done with each session. If you're working with an engineer, thank the engineer, because you would not be doing this if it weren't for the director and the engineer, especially with the engineer, because they're the ones who make sure that you sound good. And to treat all of your actors with respect and as friends. Don't treat them as competition, because it's not a competition. We're a big collective of people who just love making, just fun things together. We're a community. We're not, in this, for the money. Do we make money off of it? Awesome. Do we make good money off of it? Sometimes. But you gotta want this. You gotta want this, and you gotta want to make friends with people who also want this. Because you never know who's gonna say well, this guy would be great for this, or oh no, don't hire that guy, he sucks to work with. But don't do it just for that reason. You should just be a good person, just on by virtue. Just the world is better when people are good, and polite and kind to each other. And that's the best advice that I can give anybody, voice actor or not. Okay. Let's see. It's 2:31. Should I call it?
Yeah, I think this is perfect.
It was great talking to y'all. If y'all want to reach out to me, I'm on Twitter at AMTRAXVA. That's Amtrax VA. I'm also on Tumblr. I'm a lot more active on Tumblr than I am on Twitter. I do lots of just fun, just fun stuff on Tumblr. I was doing a thing today where I had people send me topics and movies and stuff like that, and I was just giving my opinion just with emojis. But I'm way more active on there. But those are the two places that you can reach out to me. You can also, if you want to look at my resume, it's austinmatthewsva.com. And if you have any other questions, I'll be outside. I'll be walking around for a bit. I think I still have some battery left on my phone before I gotta go home. But it was great chatting with y'all. Hope you enjoy the rest of the convention, whatever's left of it. And just if you want to do voiceover, just have fun with it. Just get going. Just have fun. Y'all have a good day.
You too. Yeah.